Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is your news report and second stimulus check update and second stimulus package update for December 5th. Happy Saturday everybody, hope you're having a great weekend so far. According to CBS News, a new stimulus deal is brewing, with major federal jobless aid programs slated to expire by year end. The question is what could replace them as high unemployment continues to afflict the US economy, and millions of Americans struggle to make ends meet. In Washington D.C., two competing proposals have been introduced this week, although each offers markedly different levels of support for jobless workers. The first is a $908 billion bipartisan congressional plan that prioritizes aid for people who are out of work, businesses, and state and local governments. The second is a smaller Republican initiative that focuses on helping businesses stay afloat while limiting their legal exposure to pandemic-related lawsuits. And Shark Tank star Kevin O'Leary is advocating for a second stimulus payment. Yahoo Finance states that Kevin O'Leary wants Congress to give American people checks and stop funding companies. Kevin O'Leary told Yahoo News, "I'm not worried about business in America. I'm worried about people in America. I'd much rather have a stimulus package that gives individual checks or extends unemployment benefits for the next 14 months. The idea that the government can pick winners and losers in business has clearly been demonstrated to be false." But what do you think of Kevin O'Leary? And do you agree that a second stimulus check should be given out? Tell me what you think in the comments down below. Now before we get into the video, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you will never miss all of the newest and most up-to-date, reliable stimulus check updates. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont spoke on MSNBC today. And here's what he said about the current state of our economy and more stimulus payments.
What we have right now are people suffering in a way economically that we have not seen since the Great Depression. Hunger is at an all-time high in recent years. You have tens of thousands of people facing eviction. You got over 90 million people who are uninsured or underinsured. And what the American people want, they understand that in the midst of this crisis, through no fault of their own, because of their pandemic, the economy is in shambles. And they are asking the United States Congress to help them. To every working class adult in this country, plus $500 for their children. In addition to that, I worry very much that in this bill being put together right now, there is legal immunity for corporations who have been irresponsible in protecting their workers.
It was mostly the $500 million didn't include any direct payments to anybody. Or is it this K-shaped recovery in which we've got a Dow at 30,000, we've got stock holders doing very well, we've got people like me who can work from home and unaffected if it takes another 6 months to get a vaccine, I'll do just fine. And there's a whole group of people in this country who are in food lines and not.
Everybody tell me in the comments down below, do you agree with Senator Bernie Sanders that our next stimulus relief bill should include $1,200 stimulus payments? Leave a comment down below saying yes or no. And according to CBS, the largest stimulus package, the $908 billion proposal, is gaining traction with Speaker Pelosi and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, saying that it should form the basis for any further negotiations. The plan has received support from several Republican senators. Pelosi on Friday said she would like to attach new relief legislation to her government funding omnibus bill that must pass within the next week to avoid a government shutdown. Although the final contours of a stimulus measure remain under debate on Capitol Hill, many experts see a clear need for additional economic relief. Job growth slowed sharply last month as cases surged around the country. The unemployment programs due to shut off on December 26th are the Pandemic Unemployment Assistance Program, or PUA, which provides aid to self-employed and gig workers, and the Pandemic Emergency Unemployment Compensation Program, or PUEC program, which provides an additional 13 weeks of benefits beyond the typical 26 weeks that states provide unemployed workers. The $908 billion bipartisan plan and Mitch McConnell's $500 billion stimulus bill would not provide an additional 6 months of benefits for the two programs, but President-elect Joe Biden and the new Congress that will be seated in January could negotiate a more generous stimulus package in early 2021. Now, the $908 billion bipartisan plan is backed by senators including Joe Manchin, a Democrat from West Virginia, and Mitt Romney, a Republican from Utah. The proposal would allocate $180 billion from unemployment aid. That would represent the second largest chunk of spending under the plan's framework. Along with $288 billion in funding for small businesses, the money would provide an additional $300 a week in jobless aid, as well as continuing state jobless benefits, according to the Washington Post. The $500 billion plan, according to CBS, was proposed this week by Senator Mitch McConnell, and he described it as a targeted aid. His plan would extend PUA and PUC for 1 month until January 31st, and then phase out benefits for the 2 months after that. However, the 2-month phase out after January 31st would only be available to people who have exhausted their benefits. In other words, if you lost your job early in the pandemic and have exhausted your eligible jobless aid, you would not qualify for additional assistance after January 31st. McConnell tweeted out, "Republicans have spent months for proposing more stimulus relief. Yesterday I put forward yet another proposal that would invest billions of dollars in workers, laid off Americans, small businesses, and vaccine distribution. I hope Democrats will finally let us get a bipartisan outcome soon." Folks, tell me what you think of Mitch McConnell. Is he holding back your second stimulus check? And why does he not want to pass more stimulus payments to Americans? McConnell's proposal also includes a liability shield for businesses to protect them against lawsuits in case workers become infected with the illness while on the job. That's according to CBS News. Shark Tank's Kevin O'Leary also wants Congress to pass more stimulus checks to people and stop funding companies. O'Leary said the government should stop funding companies and bail out Americans instead. He said a third of the Federal Payment Protection Program, or PPP loan money, designed to provide a direct incentive for small businesses to keep their workers on the payroll, was wasted to fraud and abuse. O'Leary asked, "Why do I want to bail out the shareholders of an airline when really it should go bankrupt? The middle name of airlines is bankruptcy. They do it well every 7 to 10 years. I want to take care of the flight attendants and the people that used to work at those airlines. But that's just one sector of the economy." Everyone, do you agree with Kevin O'Leary in that second stimulus check should be given out instead of defunding for big companies? Tell me what you think in the comments down below.
Was mostly the $500 million didn't include any direct payments to anybody. It was mostly indemnity to corporations. But I have to ask you, Senator Sanders, where this is coming from. Is it the lies that the president has had about coronavirus and its seriousness? Is it Mitch McConnell and Republicans who are very, very concerned about increasing debt, which would be like finding God very suddenly in your last week of life? Or is it this K-shaped recovery in which we've got a Dow at 30,000, we've got stock holders doing very well. We've got people like me who can work from home and unaffected if it takes another 6 months to.
Now folks, that is all the news in today's video. Before you go, be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the notifications bell. That way you'll never miss all of the newest and most up-to-date, reliable stimulus check updates. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and until next time, have a great day.